Thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. In today's topic, this deceased man that was on a New York City subway, and he was dual victimized. First, by a woman. And I get into showing a picture of her in a second, because that's one of the things that really still wasn't shown a lot. But the thing about it, with even more, it goes to a whole different level of quadruple level demonicism. Is that this man that you see in this image, this particular Hispanic male, who was in his early 50s, that he was on the New York City subway train, and after the heinous woman basically robbed him on a train, then this heinous demonic astronomical pig shit of an inhuman being, this male, Hispanic male, he put his private area into the homeless man who was deceased. He put his private part into that man's buttocks. Made that guy on that train, that transition on that train, for whatever that reason. And I hope that his soul rests. Now, they have not shown the image of this person, nor do we know who this person was. It would be interesting to find out if he was a black male, if he was an Anglo guy, which for some reason, majority I don't see that happening. It's always that slight error. Could be another Hispanic guy, which again, that's kind of, could he be an immigrant type person? Regardless, the RAPINGness, especially of a male, is atrocious. And this is one of those things that is so extremely minimized, regardless, is when you hear stories about males in certain places or in the streets, whatever it is, and they rop up another male and is behind. And robbing someone is not based upon just trying to get their jollies. Sometimes it is, but most times it's about showing who is this tough person. See, there are people who are lucky that there are certain people in positions that will be like, oh, you robbed another man, his behind, and it was involuntarily. Automatic castration of that personnel is pineal gland. Automatic. End of story. And you then might get the death penalty on top of that. Because you best believe if you hear somebody male that's done the robbing to a woman, you best believe, boy, they want him automatically castrated. And you best believe if he's in a facility, there's some people that want to get in contact with him real fast to remove his life. But for some reason, when another male emasculates another male's behind, especially when it's several people on one, then it's, that's bad. And this is why I still allow so much in certain facilities and certain things, certain criminalities out and about in the streets, whatever it is. Somebody, another male robs another man. It's just not taken serious. Relating to this topic, let me go ahead and play this particular video on this situation. This is so demonic and sinister of this inhuman piece of horse shit that you see in this image in front. Let me go ahead and share my screen on this here. Give me one moment. Which one is that? Okay, I'll do this one first. I'm utilizing this as fair usage doctrine. And then I'm going to show you some comments unless I forget. And I'm going to sit there and show you that you're not going to, no, we're going to see if it's a racial component that you hear racial hatred used toward this person on here. Right? We're going to see if you hear that at all. Because if this would have been a black male who did this to an Hispanic male or Anglo male or any other male, and he was deceased, he did it, oh my goodness. You already know the type of horrendous comments that would be made, right? Let me go ahead and get ready to play this. This is for fair usage doctrine. I'm utilizing this.
Police are looking for a man behind a vile attack on a subway in Lower Manhattan. And a warning here, some of the details you are about to hear are extremely disturbing. Law enforcement sources with direct knowledge of the case say this man performed sex acts on another man who died on an R train. NYPD officers responded to reports of a body on that train at the Whitehall subway station just after midnight. That was yesterday. When officers looked at video from subway cameras, our police sources say they found the man in the yellow hoodie there sexually abusing the corpse, stopping only when passengers entered or exited the train. Police say that man had been dead for several hours before that vile attack. Stopping only when passengers entered or exited the train. Police say that man had been dead for several hours before that vile attack. There, sexually found the man in the yellow hoodie there. To say they found the man in the yellow hoodie there sexually abusing the corpse, stopping only when passengers entered or exited the train. Police say that man had been dead for several hours before that vile attack.
May again that male that transition on that subway station, New York, may his soul rest on that. May his soul rest. I was going to try to show some comments on that, but I don't think I'm going to. You know what? Give me a second. Let me go ahead and show some of these comments on here. Let me share the screen again because I wasn't going to even show them comments. Let me go ahead and show some comments. Let me share my screen one last time on this. Just for a few comments on this. Give me a second. Make sure. Okay. Let's see that. All right. Give me a second here. Let me get out of here. I'm doing that's correct. Okay, here we go. Make sure that's correct. Okay, I think that's correct. Now I want you to see if you see any. Let me see if you see any racial comments. You know what is wrong with people? Just when you think it can't get any worse, this is so gross on so many levels. Demons, they walk among us. This is no joke. He demented. NYC is starting to look like the mouth of hell. He was deceased for several hours. Geez, are pastors supposed to ignore deceased people, masking a deceased body, give you, and the mayor said the subways are safe. Were not even deceased people can rob them. What the, what? Necrophilia, so evil. This world has gone mad. The mental health system has just keeps rolling along. This one of the sickest subway stories ever heard. I'm glad I don't ride the train. Too sinister for me. I avoid the trains as much as possible. This is disgusting, violent, sick. I know he'll be caught in a day to two. Someone knows this man. We shall see. Today is uh, April 13th, 2025. NYC is like a bad dream nightmare over and over. What? The governor of New York swears up and down that NYC is safe. Okay, let me stop that. Where did you see any racial component? And you have some foolish people that don't even understand that, oh, it will be like this. Hispanicism is not a race. No kidding. But the foolishness part of that is that if this was a black male, oh, you best believe they want to say, well, is he from Africa who did this? Was he from the Caribbean island who did this? No. I'm sure I'm talking about the woman who was heinous and sinister as well. You'll see the picture of her, and then you say, anyway, you'll see where I'm coming from. But the thing about it with this situation is they still expect black American people to do what the black and brown coalition, right?
Nobody else can make that determination. They decide. They say that these are the brown people. You have an expression now that's been going on for some time. Black people and brown people. Most black people are brown. You have an expression now that's been going on for some time. Black people and brown people. Most black people are brown.
But they still think that black American people, I'm not talking about the coons and some sellouts, and naive ones, think you're supposed to jump up and down for this too. Now, again, it's not about the numbers of good Hispanic person who know they are. But we're not going to minimize this. And second of all, there's Afro-Hispanic people, but it's funny how when you hear something about Hispanics, they don't sit there and talk about Afro-Hispanics, right? But again, that's a different topic. See, certain people were in certain positions to be like, okay, you know what? This needs to be revised. The word Hispanic, that needs to be revised like to racial Hispanicism. See, there are certain people from certain parts of Africa made up of 50 plus countries. And there are ones in certain parts of northern Africa. They be like, hey, whoa. We don't want to just be grouped in, right? Certain situations. I forgot what they call it. Middle, I don't want to go on all that. They're trying to separate themselves in certain parts of Africa. Right? Oh, yes. They trying to. And there's some other groups that try to separate themselves in certain racial categories. Fine. Right? That means, again, even more. Generically, Hispanicism needs to be revised. Needs to put the racial Hispanicism in there. But let me go ahead and get to this other particular article that shows the other particular devious type of pig scum who sit there and rob this man he had not been deceased yet. But this woman, this vile, disgusting woman, she still was prodding his pockets and she robbed him. She may not knocked him out or anything like that. She was going through his pockets, and his mindset was probably in some different mentality, and she robbed him, right? and whichever the legalness of the consequentiality happens toward her, right? And put within hopefully some facility for that for quite a long time. Imagine if that could have been, that's someone's father that guy got robbed. That's someone's son. That was someone's uncle. Things happen to people. And sometimes you got some, should we just be honest? There are some ignorant people that think because certain ones have money, and sometimes people do fall through the cracks and they have money and they never have to worry about certain situations. But at the same time, how many of them are unhappy in marriages and relationships and family problems, and the list goes on. And sometimes you got people so many different degrees and they thinking they all that, and it's like, and still got all types of internal messed up problems themselves inside. And still trying to figure stuff out as they get older. When you start hitting certain areas in life, you start realizing, my goodness, man, money by itself don't make you happy. I'm not talking about the happy that can kind of fleetness in situations like that. Things come up. Health situation. The last thing you're thinking about when you have terminal diseases or super hardcore sickness is, oh my goodness, that person wished they had more degrees. Oh my goodness, they wish that person was rich. That stuff means nothing when you got terminology of diseases, right? And your last breath will probably be in a few months or maybe less than a year, et cetera, et cetera. But that's a whole different topic. That's a spiritual topic. But getting to what I'm about to show you, this last part of it, this article here. All right, we can see that. Utilizing this as time, peace, purpose. You see right here, NYPD says man that was found deceased on R train was robbed by two suspects and sexually violated. But if you don't know the story, you'll think two suspects and they sexually violated, right? So sometimes people don't. Anyway, so on that one, Whitehall Street, South Ferry. Numbers of people who know where that's at. Numbers of people who don't. 2025 article. A man found deceased on the R train early Wednesday morning was robbed by a female passenger. But also just believe women, right? And that's a whole different thing. There are some naive males. It's hard for certain numbers of males that just really can't believe that there are some criminality females. There are some criminality females. Yes. And it's been so programmed by certain numbers of males to just cannot accept that. And this is why certain numbers of criminal females continue to keep doing what they're doing as well. And numbers of them are criminality in various parts of marriages. And they're sitting there, in their mentality, just planning on Godzilla divorcing certain type of numbers of males, especially have a different type of higher economics than that woman. Or if they don't, right, to get some kind of other, I don't want to go on that. That's a whole different thing on that. So, and later, a man found deceased on the R train early Wednesday morning was robbed by a female passenger and lady sexually violated and robbed again by a male passenger. Enforcement were searching for two suspects in the incident. They did not release the name of the victim or either suspect in public statements, but a poster distributed to MTA workers identified the man sought for sexual misconduct of a deceased human body. Sexual misconduct of a deceased human body. As a 51-year-old Hispanic guy, not Afro-Hispanic, Carlos Garcia, with a last known address on Manor Avenue in the Bronx. According to law, such and such, around 10:48 on Tuesday when it happened. Today is April 13th, 2025. A woman approached the unconscious and unresponsive man. Okay, one man I read some of that. He was responsive, but anyway. So a woman approached the unconscious and unresponsive man aboard a southbound R train near the Whitehall Street station. They said she removed unknown property from the victim before fleeing the scene. Enforcement released images of the woman they're seeking. She was last seen wearing a yellow hooded sweatshirt, black pants, and a black baseball cap with a hat pulled down over, they said, her eyes. And this is the suspect of this demonic woman who robbed, either he was about to become deceased on a subway train, or he was deceased, or well, he was about to be, he was deceased or about to be deceased, related to unresponsive version. However, situations, heinousness. Now, this could be Black American woman, could be an immigrant type, wink, wink, Black woman, because you got ones that they Black when they want to be Black, and they're not Black when they don't want to be Black. I don't want to go into all that. That's our topic today, right? Or it could be, perhaps someone that is not a biological woman, but was a biological male within Black category, and just tranched over, perhaps. Who knows? But you see the skin color, right? Still has some kind of Black in there, just depending where it is. Now, this wasn't shown a lot as well because, and again, it's still wrongness. Oh, gigantically wrong, and made the consequential legalness be put upon them, and whichever put in facility, right, on that. The second suspect, identified in the wanted poster we'll talk about as Carlos Garcia, was also seen on surveillance footage taking items from the man's pocket. So not only did he also robbed that deceased male on that subway train, that he was also seen on surveillance footage taking items from the man's pockets before committing a sexual act on the victim just after midnight. Let me sit there and show you the video of this, a quick little slight video of this piece of crap again, of a person, inhumanness, that had the sexual relations with a deceased male. Give me a second here. And hopefully he is called extremely fast on that, unless he's a border breaker, a legal immigrant, or unless it's some kind of, anyway. I thought I saw something where there was a family member, don't quote me on this, that was saying he could not have done that. It's not possible. You see the denial mode, right? That one's is like, I can't believe it. You got video footage showing he did it. Sickness. Let me see. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Can you see that? Hold on. Okay, yeah, here we go. This is my last video. So you see, look, on the train station, right? And before I forget, where's the Daniel Penny crowd at? The little sinister Daniel Penny crowd who sit there and his two little cohort coward henchmen. And by the way, one of them was also a white Hispanic. The other one's almost like, he didn't fell into a canyon that really not too many people know who this person who he was. But I did a show topic on that as well. When they talked about, it was a name of one of the other cowards who assisted that other super coward, Daniel Penny, right? And that guy was a white Hispanic who assisted Daniel, the coward Penny, anti-American black male Penny, right? White Hispanic. And there was lack of coverage on that part too, on that. It's done on purpose. But here we go with the Frisco situation with the black youth, 16, 17-year-old, who's self-defense, and you got people going crazy because the one of the twins, Anglo twins in Frisco, Texas, at this track meet that had nothing to do with being on school property, put his hands on the black teen, telling him that he can't be in the tent when the Anglo teen and his twin didn't even belong in that freaking tent. And you got people trying to play racial games toward that on one side. Right? But when it comes down to some other culture doing wrong things as a certain type of people within the Panama-based culture, people don't see too much race at the same time. But when a black person does some ravages towards certain ones within the Panama-based culture, oh my goodness, it's race then. You see the craziness of this stuff, right? But it's like Daniel Penny, oh my goodness, he's trying to protect this woman from some savage black male who like he was trying to harm her. Oh my goodness, she had a kid with her. And you'd be like, huh? How many numbers of people every day in these places they got some things going on mentally, right? And you don't have people jumping up and down about them. When it looks like, hey, hold on, man, this person get a little too close to us, right? Or they come across in a certain way. You don't hear people jumping up on them, choking them out like they're nothing, like Daniel racial racism Penny did, right? The Anglo guy did to unarmed black male, snuck up behind him like a coward, and his two little coward henchmen, and certainly one of those white Hispanic. Where's that crowd at to sit there and choke out this demonic monster? Here it is, the picture. A quick video before I close the show. Say it again. Let's show it again. Been on the train. Yes. Yes. See, you'll look at him. Most people pass right by him, not paying attention to him. Right? But here's the monster. This particular Hispanic male who did the devious, demonic necrophilia toward a deceased man, putting his private penis in that deceased man's buttocks. This is one of those stories, boy. Oh, boy. I thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.